Today we're going to be talking about the story module in the writing the sales letter in 1 hour, because every sales letter should have a story to it in order to increase its effectiveness at converting the prospect into a customer. Because we all identify with stories, it's hardwired in us, and yada yada yada. Basically, stories just increase your sales potency. Stories can be hard to write if you're not a story writer, if you're not a good storyteller, or if you just have trouble coming up with ideas off the top of your head. So I've created a system that allows me to generate stories that best surmise how I've come up with the product I did and why I'm selling it. And it allows me to do it very quickly. In fact, I have a whole list of plots that I draw upon to create my stories, and I have a basic outline that each of these plots plug into. And I'm going to share that with you today. Okay, basically all stories that are persuasive and that sell well, most of them, almost I'd say 80% of them have this basic formula, and it goes like this. I've been where you've been. So you're starting where the customer's starting. I've been where you've been, okay? So I feel your pain, you know, and that's the second part of it. I've been where you've been. I felt your frustrations, pains, fears. Pains and fears. Okay? So you're starting where they're at. Then it's kind of like problem, agitate, solve. You've been where they've been. You felt their pains, frustrations, and fears. And this is important. Before I even write my story, and when I sit down and do my quick research, I try to find their biggest frustration, their biggest pain, and their biggest fear. And so in my story, I'll incorporate each one of these. So I have their biggest frustration in my story, their biggest pain in my story, and their biggest fear in my story. And I'll show you how to present those in numerous ways later. So I've been where you've been. I felt your pains, frustrations, and fears. Okay. This led me to search for a solution because the pain was so great that I had to go out and search for a solution. So I've searched for a solution now for my pains, fears, and frustrations. My journey led me to discover something to solve this. So yeah, I've discovered a solution. I've been where you've been. I felt your frustrations, pains, and fears. This made me search for a solution. I discovered something that alleviated these frustrations, pains, and fears, and now I'm going to share it with you. To share it. It's the journey that we go through. So any story you can create stories at random that basically follow this, and you can do it very quickly. At the very basic, this is a journey plot, is what this is called. It's a quest plot. You know, I had a headache. This headache allowed me not to concentrate. I couldn't look at the lights anymore. I had to lay in my room, and I was scared that it might be something worse. So I searched for some way to alleviate this pain of this headache. I discovered Tylenol, and now I'm going to tell you about it. That's just a joking way of doing it, but you can do anything like this. I was like you. I couldn't approach a woman. It made me feel anxious inside. It made me feel like less of a man, and it made me scared that I would die lonely. Desperately, I searched and scoured, and I tried to find the experts to help me. And each one of them had their own solution, but none of them seemed to work. So out of desperation, I just started going out there and trying my own stuff, which allowed me to discover what really worked and what didn't work. And I'm going to share that with you today. You know, I used to be able to not knit for more than 10 minutes. It hurt my hands. And so I looked for the best knitting solution that there was out there. And guess what? After a bunch of trial and error, I found something that worked really good for anybody. Even a 10-year-old kid can now knit with my system that I'm going to share with you. So that's the basics. That's the basis skeleton, the framework of our story is, I've been where you've been. I felt your frustrations, pains, and fears. This made me search for a solution. This allowed me to discover something which I'm going to share with you today. Okay, cool. Now, within this basic 5-step story process, there are many plots that you can weave into it. I like to choose one dominant plot to work with. I'm going to share with you some of the most universally appealing and most popular and intriguing plots that are guaranteed to really get your reader's interest, so you can take this basic problem, agitate, solve, expansion framework here and really develop it to give your sales letters that zing. Even if you've never been able to create a good story before, or if you have trouble creating them now. Now you'll be able to create stories very quickly that are compelling and persuasive. Okay, so let's do it.